Our daily Bible reading today comes from Psalms chapter 109 through chapter 115. And our daily devotional today here at Carrollton Christian Fellowship comes from and is the entire Psalm chapter 109. And what we see in Psalm chapter 109 is this is a plea of David, and this is also prophecy of vengeance against the hateful enemies of the Lord. And so would be considered one of David's most seeking and praying for the Lord to take vengeance upon his enemies. And something that needs to be noticed here and needs to be acknowledged is that David is committing and trusting the Lord for his response to those who persecute the righteous and for those who persecute him. And so this is a good example for even for us, that we do not seek to take vengeance into our own hand, but vengeance belongs to the Lord. And so in verses 1 through 5, this is a prayer from David for deliverance. So David is praying to be delivered from those who hate him and from those who seek his destruction and from those who are just evil and hateful enemies against him and against others who are righteous. And then we see in verses 6 through 13, we see what hateful aggression does to the family of the aggressor. So the aggressor may find this individual. So for David, the one aggressing David may have found him and thought that he was the only one that was receiving the aggression. But in all actuality, our aggression has consequences on those who are around us and those who we may not understand and realize and think that is receiving our aggression because we're so focused on being so aggressive and hateful towards a certain individual. So that needs to be something that we understand and realize, both for ourselves and also when we see someone who is aggressive and who is hateful towards us. We should pray for them, and we should also pray for their family because of different things that their family and those who are close to them maybe and probably are going through. So use this as an encouragement so that you may pray for them and so that you may seek that they may have that restoration and that revival back to the Lord that we have talked about the past couple of days. And then in verse 14 through 20, we see David's prayer and for waiting for God's coming judgment. And that David states that he will wait for God's coming judgment, both for if the Lord desires to bring it about now, or that the judgment that he may have to wait for those who hate him and are aggressive towards him, and those that seek his demise until the very end judgment of the Lord. So David states that he will wait on that no matter what it looks like. And then in verse 21 through 25, we see prayer for help because of David's weakness, because of all this aggression and because of all this hatred that is upon him. And then verses 26 through 29, we see David's prayer for help from a heart that is focused on glorifying the Lord, from a heart that is focused on God's glory and what God desires. So David is stating here that I have only sought your glory, Lord. I have only sought you. I have only sought your righteousness. So Lord, please give me help. Give me help. I am crying out to you, Lord. And then in verses 30 through 31, we see that David's confidence is in the Lord. And because of this relationship that David has and has had with the Lord, and because David is close with the Lord, we see that David's confidence in the Lord, David's confidence for the Lord to bring this about and in the Lord to do these things, that he's not going to trust in his strength or in his might to bring about and to justify or to bring vengeance upon those who have wronged him. And we see that this has produced two separate things in David, that this trusting that he has in the Lord and on the Lord's timing has produced two things. It's produced hope and it's produced patience in David's life. So this trusting the Lord has produced hope and patience. And so how about you? How are you doing with the hope that you have for the Lord and for the Lord's working, and then also for the patience that you have for the Lord's timing. This is what these things do. When we trust in the Lord and we trust in His timing, and we are confident in the Lord's timing, the Lord produces in us hope for Him and hope for His timing, and also patience for His timing. Paul, when he wrote to the Thessalonians, he said it this way. He said that the Lord will judge those who are persecuting you, those who are bringing persecution and trials and tribulation. To the church in Thessalonica, those who were around, the Judaizers, those from the city, they were bringing intense, very intense persecution on the church there. And so Paul wrote to them and said, hey, guess what? The Lord will judge them. Let the Lord do this. You have hope in that. And this will produce patience. And because of this hope and patience that He will develop in you, your response is to be salt and light. So Paul said that the Lord will take care of the vengeance. The Lord will take care of them. You may have to wait till that final judgment. But for you, you focus on being salt and light within the city. Because guess what? You have already become salt and light to the whole world. So continue to focus on being salt and light in your community. Don't take vengeance out in your own hands, and don't take vengeance out on your enemies. So I hope this can be an encouragement to you. I hope this will encourage you to go forward with the Lord, go forward in trusting the Lord, and that you will see the hope and also the patience that the Lord will develop in you in this. Being patient for His timing, and also hopeful for His timing, and for seeing Him work and Him move in the life of those who are aggressing you by being salt and light, but also that guess what? The Lord's just and judgment, that is what we look forward to. And that we go to Him because He is just. We go to Him and we lay forth our plea for His mercy upon our life. And we are thankful that He sent Jesus to die for us. And so just as we have received that, we also hope to be that salt and light so that others will also come to that knowledge and understanding. So I hope again that this can be an encouragement to you today. And take care, have a blessed one, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.